Here's a kind of new one.
This is an old Corsair K95 keyboard that has the 18 macro keys on the side. It's a really nice keyboard. I like the larger layout. The only thing I don't like about this keyboard is that the switches are too quiet. Let's go ahead and change that. The first thing we have to do is pull off all the keycaps and put them to the side. The viewer retention on my channel isn't the greatest, so I figured the best thing to do for that is to make a very long video that focuses on nothing but removing old keyboard switches and soldering in some new ones. That should work, right? In order to get access to the circuit board, we have to remove a million screws holding this thing together. There are some that are hidden in very stupid spots, but we have a screwdriver and we're going to get through this. The reason why I'm doing this video is not to just show you switching out switches, because that's been done a lot. I've watched a lot of Hipyo tech, I've seen it. It's very interesting content. I'm nowhere near as good as maintaining an audience as well as he is, but I just wanted to try something different for once. I'm still going to do crazy repairs and whatnot, but I just want to see how this pans out. I don't think it's going to do well, but I just wanted to give it a shot. Inside is pretty straightforward. All we have to do is remove one more screw, disconnect a few connectors, and lift out this multimedia board. Before we continue any further with this, I just wanted to give you guys a close-up of this PCB, as I did not see it myself. If we look close enough, you can see a bunch of weird stuff, like this little guy right here. Looks like an ant. He's definitely dead. It's not moving at all. It's just kind of like stuck there. There's also a lot of weird like liquid. I am told that this is probably roaches. I've never seen roaches in electronics yet, but I'm told that this could possibly be roaches. This thing over here looks like a cockroach, a little one that died. There's some weird white stuff, which I'm told could be roach feces. I've never heard of that before. I do know cockroaches like seeking out warmth inside of electronics, so even if your house is clean, be on the lookout. So from here on out, I will be wearing gloves because this is nasty. Hipyo has sponsored my channel, and they gifted me this amazing 3-in-1 soldering station that comes with a pistol grip desoldering tool, and we'll be using that to remove all of these switches, all 122 of them. As I've mentioned 122 times already, this circuit board has 122 switches on it, which means 244 solder joints. So using a desoldering gun for this type of job is going to make this a lot easier. However, you don't really need a desoldering gun to remove switches like this. You could just use an iron and some wick. It will take more time, but it will get the job done. Let's get a better view of these macro switches being desoldered. As you can see, the iron sits on top of the joint, the solder becomes molten, and then is sucked up through the gun. As the solder is flowing through the gun, I like to move the tip of the iron in a circular motion. This prevents the formation of sweat joints, which allows for the component to be removed easier. A sweat joint is a very small solder joint that exists on the inside of a hole touching from the plated hole to the pin, which can give the illusion that the pin is free of solder, but when you go to remove the component, it could rip up a trace or a pad, so this small circular motion prevents those from forming. Now we can lift up this very flimsy, fragile feeling PCB and start removing all of these gross brown switches. Before I add the new switches, I want to clean both sides of the PCB using some alcohol. At the start of this video I mentioned that the switches were too quiet, so to fix that I'll be using these very obnoxious blue clicky ones. I might get some hate for this, but I really love the sound and feel of clicky switches. I don't know why, it just feels like I'm typing on a typewriter and I just love it. So yeah, we'll be using these obnoxious keys instead. I have no idea what I'm doing here, so I'll do it in a way that makes sense to me. I'll start by adding switches to the corner of the switch plate and then soldering that into place. Afterwards, I'm hoping everything else will just kind of line up and fall into place. As mentioned before, I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be putting this much pressure on the keys to get them to snap through the plate and then through the PCB. This might make it cringe if this is wrong. It does feel wrong because it's taking a lot of pressure to really push those keys in, but it's working, so I can't really complain. And now it's time to make 244 solder joints. Now it's time to close this thing up, which is essentially the first half of this video, but in reverse. Alright, and the reason why it's so dark is because I want to show off the lighting effects on this keyboard, but we are finally done with it. All 122 keys are replaced with these obnoxiously loud blue clicky switches. I love that so much. I just love that noise so much. Don't judge my typing pattern. I didn't really have a formal upbringing with computers, but I love this keyboard. I love the switches. These 18 macro keys are going to serve me very well with CAD stuff. That's mainly why I sought out this keyboard. Is I like the idea of having 18 macro keys that I can assign to different programs like Eagle, Fusion 360. Video editing is going to be huge, audio recording, all that stuff. This is going to serve me very well. And it is a giant keyboard. Like, it is huge. I bought this little guy off Amazon to kind of get me through working on this. And this is like, I think a 65%, really tiny guy. I do like it, but not for home use where I'm doing a whole bunch of editing and CAD stuff. So I like having a full keyboard, and there's 18 macro keys, just a cherry on top. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this type of video. I know it's very different from what I usually do, but I'm just trying to get a little weird on this channel and kind of branch out from just repair stuff and see what works and see what doesn't. There's no harm there. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.